Good morning, it's Monday. It's another week. How are we doing? It is me, Calvin K from Kwak Talks, and you are watching Kwak TV because why watch Kwak TV when you can watch Kwak TV? Like I said, me, Calvin K. So if you are watching this on replay, please do make sure you pop in hashtag replay in the comments. And at the moment, you can catch us via my Facebook page, my Facebook group, YouTube and LinkedIn. I don't know why I'm going like this. They're not in them places, but you get the gist. So how are we doing? It's Monday, like fresh week, complete new start. And I set the challenge as of last week to people. What could they do by Monday to bring out the inner child, something they used to do from their childhood? What could they do to bring out that inner child by today? So if you are watching this and you haven't done that yet, think about it. And what can you do by the end of today to bring out that inner child? There we go. So if you are tuning in, make sure you do jump in the comments and say good morning to me. Tell me what you've got going on. Have we got anything happening? Because it is the 1st of March. We're near spring. Are we in? No, we're not in spring yet, but we're near spring. We're near, like third month of the year. How the hell has that happened? So make sure you jump in the comments and you tell me what is going on with you. So this week, with today's guest, before I bring them on very shortly, is Eating Disorder Week. Eating Disorder Week, which is fabulous. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that this week we are raising awareness, we are sharing posts, and we're going to be connecting with the fabulous Vicky Midwood, who I will be bringing on very shortly. But before that, I'm going to go, because I want to share this far and wide today. So I'm going to do the really awkward thing of when I start searching through all my Facebook to search everything. So bear with me. If you're watching this on replay, you can fast forward like 30 seconds. Don't you worry. Shadow group. Why is this taking so long? There we go. And we're done. Fantastic. There we go. Just want to get a few more people on the show. So if you are making sure you're tuning in, like I said, jump into the comments and say hello to me, because I do like to say hello. So as we know, every morning on Kwak TV, I go through the different days of the year. I go through Twitter hashtags, weird and wonderful news, Google Trends, and anything else in between, because why not? The normal news and is really, really boring. I like to make it really, really fun. So today, your days of the year, it is Barista Day. So we have got around in the world, no matter what's going on, you have still got some of these individual coffee shops still open. Let's go and support them if you wasn't doing it already, and go and support these baristas. It is Barista Day. It is also Fun Facts About Names Day. Okay, fun fact about mine, I might be Calvin K, but I'm actually called Josh. My mum's just severely dyslexic. No, that was a really bad joke. It is also Pig Day. Cute. It is also Retired, Not Retired Day for them people that retired, but they're not. They don't relax at home, do they? They carry on plodding along. It is also Wedding Planning Day. Okay. But most of all this week, which I said earlier, it is Eating Disorder Awareness Week. I believe I've said that right. But it's about awareness on raising eating disorders. And honestly, it's such an important thing. So before I move on to bringing our guest on, your trending hashtags for the day, bear with me. Hashtag Monday Motivation. Hashtag Monday Thoughts. Hashtag Monday Morning. Hashtag March 2021. Because people are discussing, on Twitter, people are discussing their hopes and goals for the month ahead of the first day of March. And is there anything else? And then hashtag March 1st, number 1, ST. So like I said, Monday Motivation, hashtag Monday Thoughts, hashtag Monday Morning, hashtag March 2021, and hashtag March 1st. And it is also National Careers Week. How could I forget bringing that up? It is also National Careers Week. So that's the one thing I probably should mention with me being a school governor. But it is National Careers Week as well. So honestly, if you are, like I said, tuning in, we'll keep getting people dropping in and out. Jump in the comments, say hello, say good morning, because I'm about to bring on the one and the only Vicky Midwood herself. This lady is the eating and alcohol eliminator. You basically grab life by the balls and sort your shit out. You know, she said many of these things to me, from health MOTs to basically telling you to get your shit together. This fabulous lady helps everyone, and I could not think of a better guest to have on the Monday, the 1st of March, on the start of Eating Disorder Week. So, with no further ado, good morning, Vicky.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy 1st of March. Here we are.
And how are you, my lovely? How are you?
I'm really good this morning after a morning of technical glitches, which I did not get stressed about. Yeah, I'm excellent. I'm really looking forward to talking to you about this stuff today.
Oh, so am I. So, how's your weekend been? Because I know obviously you've had a bit of a build up to this week. How was your weekend?
Yeah, so the weekend's been pretty much full on. For me, my weekends are pretty much working, but I love what I do. And oftentimes that's when people get the chance to get space away from homeschooling or family and can disappear and have like a little private conversation with me. So I really enjoy my weekends, even though I am working. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So it's been good, apart from absolute nightmare where we had no internet at all day Saturday. And then it went again last night. So I panicked a tad about this morning.
But you didn't stress, you just mildly panicked.
Mildly panicked. Fortunately, I'd got done what I needed to do to get ready for this week. So I was like, hurrah.
Love it. So Vicky, just in case people don't know who you are and what you do, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Vicky Midwood and I am the alcohol and disordered eating eliminator. And I refer to myself as that because I eliminate the need, the desire, and the obsession to use food and or alcohol to help you to get through life, to cope with your feelings and to what is going on in your world at the time. And I do that in a very logical, sensible, proven to work way that helped me to get over my issues. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it was my story and I struggled for way longer than I needed to do.
Love it. And do you know, we're going to dive straight into it this week because this is one of the main reasons we got you on the show for today, won't we? You know, it's Eating Disorder Week. So what is this week? What is this week?
This week is all about us trying to get people to talk about this stuff. This is really behind closed doors, cloak and dagger stuff that people are ashamed to admit to bring out in conversation. It's really personal stuff when we talk about whether we are in control, in inverted commas, of our food or our alcohol intake. And as human beings, none of us like to admit that we're not in control of stuff, especially when it comes to the stuff that we're putting inside our own bodies, because we're frightened we're going to get judged. And also, we think we must be flawed, that there must be something wrong with us if we can't actually handle this stuff. So we're not going to openly go, yeah, I can't control myself. So this is what the week is about. It's to say, do you know what? So many more people are struggling than you realize. And you don't have to struggle in silence and be on your own. Let's start talking about this stuff. Just like we're talking more about depression and things like that now, it's coming more out into the open. And I want to do the same with disordered eating and alcohol addiction. It's not your fault, right? But it is your fault if you choose to stay stuck in it. You can help yourself if you go to somebody who gets what's going on for you and knows how to help you.
Absolutely love it. And I take it this week, you know, it's hopefully this is going to be ran out between schools and you know, workplaces and so on and so on. If there's anyone obviously hopefully watching this that goes, oh, okay, why not talk about that? We should be talking about this. Where could they start? Is there any really good resources that they could use or anything like that?
There is a lot of resources available. Obviously, we've got the internet, so you can just Google eating disorders. What are they? I've put together, especially for this week, a couple of resources on my website that you can download. One of them is the common signs. So how do you spot the signs of eating disorders and the reasons why people have disordered eating or a strange relationship with their body and food or drink. So that's available for you to download. I've also got on there a questionnaire, because oftentimes we don't actually know, have I got a problem? Have I actually got a problem, or is it just willpower? So there's a really quick yes/no questionnaire on my website as well that you can download, which will clearly let you know if you do have an issue, and then you can decide what you want to do. And hopefully what you want to do is have a chat to somebody about potentially how to get out of it.
Love it. And you know, since you mentioned it, obviously you say, you know, you've walked the walk with this, you're not just taught the talk. How long was it eating disorders? I know you do eating and alcohol, don't you? So was it what was it? Let's get deep. Let's get to
Let's get deep. Right. So my issues actually started right back when I was at infant school. So as a kid, right, I had issues with food. And funnily enough, I talked about how it started for me on my podcast, which was released yesterday. But basically, unbeknownst to me then, I had a lot of tonsillitis when I was a little kid and tons of antibiotics. And I didn't know then that antibiotics will affect the flora in your gut and the messages and how the hormones work. Long and short of it is, I then programmed my body to love the carbohydrates and the sweet and sugary foods. And that led to me wanting more of the same thing. Anybody who is binging on sweets, cakes, biscuits, etc., chocolate, pizza, will know that those are the foods that you go to. And there's a physiological response. I didn't know that as a kid. I just knew that I wanted them all the time. So it began when I was 5. And then I wasn't really that, you know, as a kid, that into body image, but I knew I was different to my friends and I didn't like it, but I was a good sports person. I was fast, right? So, and I provided sweets. I kind of bribed people to like me because we lived next to a sweet shop. So I could nick sweets and give them to people that I liked. And I did. So I didn't get teased particularly, but I knew when I got to secondary school that I was different to other people. I was broader, I was ginger haired, I was freckly, right? Yeah. And all of the girls seemed to be skinny limbed and like really pretty. And so my issues really began at sort of 11, big time. And then when we first started dieting, and for me, it was a diet that kicked things over, all of my friends were able to keep to it. And I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. And so I felt a failure. I couldn't understand what was wrong with me. Why were they finding it so easy? Why was I constantly thinking about food? And yet they weren't. And that's when I discovered that I could make myself sick and get rid of the food. And so for me, from age 12, my eating stuff was a huge problem. And it got progressively worse and worse over time. And that's really how it started for me. So from 12 years old, I had my issues. As I got to growing up and I did my personal training qualification and became a fitness instructor, because in my head, that was going to be a way of me getting fit, keeping my weight in track, and helping other people at the same time. I was fortunate that I learned about nutrition, but not in the way that I know about nutrition now. It was very surface stuff, but that helped me to understand that I did actually need to eat food. By that point, I'd been extraordinarily thin and had been threatened with hospitalization. I didn't go down that road because I was so stubborn. I said, no, you're not going to do that to me. I started eating, but I had no clue. So I literally went from really skinny, 5.5 stone, completely the other end, right up to 12 stone, because I had no connection with my body or full up or what. And then food was just something that I fed my emotions on. I went back to the bulimia because it was the only thing that worked for me, and stayed at a ridiculously low weight for quite a long time until I started to make friends with food. But as I was doing that, I also made friends with alcohol. And I discovered that if I drank, I would count my calories. I was a big calorie counter still at that point. If I drank, that means I couldn't eat because the calorie, right? So I preferred drinking to eating. And so the alcohol gradually took over, and I thought I'd kind of dealt with the food stuff. I seemed to be doing okay. I'd gotten to a weight where I was able to manage it, but then the drink went totally out of hand. And that landed me fast forward to go into rehab. So my drinking got out of control when I was 18, and I didn't end up in rehab till I was 35. So that whole time I was struggling, thinking, my fault, I can fix it. It's willpower. It's Monday, I'll start again. I'll have my rules. I won't drink till this time. Or I'm sure anybody who's got an issue can identify with, I won't have my first drink till lunchtime. I won't have it till 6. I'll drink just wine, nothing else. All of those things that we tell ourselves that we're going to do but when it comes to it, we can't actually do.
Yeah.
When I got to rehab, I totally embraced it. Actually, it was a relief because I realized I couldn't do it on my own, but I didn't know where to go. I'd heard of AA, but I thought it was for other people, not for me, right? And I think a lot of people will think the same. So rehab introduced me to AA, and I did what I was told because I was ready to surrender. Stop fighting the battle of thinking I could do it myself. And when I surrendered, I did what I was told, and I went through the steps of AA. Made complete sense. Couldn't understand why I didn't know this stuff. But crucially, I learned about the brain and how it works and how to reprogram it. Built my business, went back to studying, first person to graduate, etc., etc. My daughter at that point was 7. And so I was focused on being a single parent, running a business and all that kind of stuff, and studying for my addiction disorders masters. My food crept back in. Issues with food came back. And not only that, I started to have issues with my health. So now I really got my geek on. I wanted to find out just what the heck was going on. Why couldn't I still feel completely in control and know how to manage my weight and what was happening? So that's when I really discovered the connection between the gut and the brain, the hormones, the neurotransmitters, and all the physiological stuff that I sort of knew, but didn't know enough to be able to help myself. And by doing that, along with understanding NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and CBT, behavioral therapy and changes, I was able to finally get rid of my craziness and obsession around food. And that's really what brought me to doing what I do now. I had to help myself to really get to grips with finding out what works and, crucially, what doesn't, so that people don't waste the amount of time that I did just focusing on therapy and personal development, which is great. Absolutely love it. And it's a vital part of it. That you need to actually understand food and nutritional therapy and how your body works. And that was the missing piece of the puzzle for me. So yeah, it was a long journey from really 5 years old, right up to 45. I'm 52 now. So 45 was really when I kind of could finally say, I've got this food thing, I think, sorted out. And a lot of my clients have that same time frame, because we keep telling ourselves we can do it on our own. And that's what this week is about. Ask for help earlier, because it's available if you go to the right person who understands A, what you're feeling, and B, how to help you in your circumstances to get out of where you're at.
Love it. I don't really have anything to say to that. Like, just, this is what makes you special. You know, like, in a sense, not even just in business, but you as a person. You have quite literally, like I said, you have been through it. You have done it. Not saying there's any problems at all with anyone that hasn't gone through it, but they, you know, they've studied it, they've got the qualification, blah, blah. I'm not saying that. For me, like you've just said, you know it from the personal angle. Like the people that say, you know, like you say, you know, the people, oh, I won't drink till 6 p.m. I won't drink till 5 p.m. You know, because you've been there and you've done it. And, you know, I won't dive massively into myself because it's not my story to tell, but I've struggled with this with a family member. And I was saying to yourself, you know, what it's taken for them is a serious, a serious family member to have a stroke. And they've been a bit like, wow. I know why they've had a stroke. I know what's gone on there. And I personally wouldn't say there was an alcoholic. There was definitely a binge drinker with a lot going on. And it was eye-opening for them. And they've to drink now since New Year's.
I think sometimes it takes something like a big major health event for us to finally take stock. And for me, it did. That's what allowed me to stop the alcohol. I couldn't do it on my own by choice. It took something, right? I call it the universe that stepped in and made circumstances that they were that I got the help that I needed. I have to say I hate labels and the aholic term, because, you know, most people have reasons why they're drinking, and we know that it can help, and it does in the short term. And this is a problem, and this is why we love to talk about it. And this is why, if you've got family members that you suspect may be having issues, just talking about feelings is such a big part of this, because we're ashamed to talk, especially guys are ashamed to talk about feelings, right? It's seen as something that, oh, it's a female thing. And one thing I do want to say is disordered eating is not gender specific. There's not more women than guys. It's pretty much, it's getting close to 50-50 now. And it's getting younger people as well as much older people too. You know, there is no kind of barriers to any of this stuff. It doesn't matter how old you are, what walk of life you're in. It can affect you because we use it as a coping mechanism, and it works. If it didn't, we won't keep doing it. But sometimes a big event like a stroke or a heart attack can just give you that opportunity to take a step back and say, do I want to carry on like this, or is now the opportunity for me to change things? And for a lot of people it is. Sad to say, for a lot of people it's not. But, you know, we can do only so much to help people. But the first step is get them to just talk about it and know they're not flawed, they're not broken, they don't need fixing. They just need to be able to manage things in a different way, understand how their body works and why they've got to this point, and know that they don't have to stay there. There is a solution.
Yeah. Love it. Vicky, on that note, everyone, please get Vicky on your live shows and everything like that. If, in particular this week, but if not, please do in the future. She's a fabulous, fabulous lady. Thank you so much. Don't rush off anywhere. I'll have a quick natter with you backstage, and I will speak to you shortly. And honestly, I don't feel like I should say good luck this week. I mean, like, have a busy week, have a hectic week.
I hope so. I have lots of people talking to me, I hope, about what's going on for them.
Good. Lovely to speak to you, Vicky, and I'll speak to you in a minute.
Thank you.
Bye. That lady is phenomenal. She really, really is. And honestly, please do get in touch with her. So on that note, you've been watching Kwak TV, and tomorrow we have a fabulous guest. Tomorrow we have the one and only Jude on the show. So make sure you jump on tomorrow, because we are talking all things, well, I don't know, because I don't know until she comes on the show. So on that note, have a cracking day. Remember, it's the 1st of March. So how's this month going to count for you? And what can you get done by the end of today to bring out that inner child? And I will see you tomorrow, 9:30. Have a fabulous day. Have a fabulous start to your week. And remember, if you can't be good, careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.